शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So Namaste, namaste. Hari Om. So last time I think we were looking at a few stories from the Brahma Purana. So Brahma Purana is very vast again. Reason being it's just the Adi Purana. So today also we will continue looking at the Brahma Purana. We'll continue looking at a few more stories, and along with stories a few important aspects which the Brahma Purana has mentioned, it has got reference to. So we start. So last time, if you remember, in the last session we had seen the story of Prithu, Trishanku, Prithu, how the fifth head of Brahma was removed. Today we'll start with something different. So this is very, very interesting. I want to see about Purusha. Now today we start with Purushottama Kshetram. Anyone knows what is Purushottama Kshetram? Earlier name of a temple today. No. Jagannath Puri temple. Jagannath Puri temple that we have today was earlier called as Purushottama Kshetram. How this Kshetram was built, so reference to this temple has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana. So if you remember in the introduction itself about Brahma Purana, I told you that Brahma Purana gives a lot of reference to places in the state of Odisha in India. So Jagannath Puri, a very famous temple in the state of Orissa. So in that, how this temple was made, who constructed it, and the story behind this temple, that has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana. So today we'll first look at that. So there was a king called Indradyumna, and he was very, very powerful as Indra himself. That's how he got the name as Indradyumna, that one who's equal to the king of gods, Indra. He was a very righteous king, honest, truthful and everything, and he was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So always he had in his mind that I must do a lot for the sake of Vishnu, for doing the worship of Vishnu. So a lot of satsangas, he used to arrange a lot of devotees, prayer meets and so on. So for the sake of Vishnu worship, the king used to contribute a lot. Now he once decided that let me in my state, he used to live in the state of Odisha. So different places he used to visit about, and then he said that in my state, in my local area, I have done a lot for Vishnu worship. But what of the other places that are there all over India? Now when I say India, it is not only today's geographic India, it's the entire Jambu Dvipa, some parts of Pakistan, Afghanistan and so on. So India was quite big then. So different places wherein we have different other temples and Tirtha Kshetras, pilgrimage spots for Vishnu. Let me also go and visit all those places so that my worship and my devotion towards Lord Vishnu will increase. So he keeps on going. So he visits different places, but not even a single place he feels satisfied. Now many times it happens for all of us also. Nothing is wrong, like everything is very nicely, life is also going about very happily, peaceful, but still sometimes we feel restless. So we think, what is going wrong, what is happening? No, nothing is there, everything is fine, but still we feel restless, right? So the same thing even this king was experiencing. His capital was the state of Avanti. Avanti, you can consider so-called Allahabad today. Praha Kshetram as we call, that is Avanti, somewhat near to that. Malwa, so in the central part of India, that was the king's capital, a very wealthy city, and he had done a lot of development, all the people, subjects, everything was happy, and there was a temple to Shiva in this temple called the Mahakala temple. Now this with regards to this, the Shiva here was called Mahakal, but now is this the same Mahakaleshwara of Madhya Pradesh? Some references say yes, because this Avanti Kshetram is somewhat related to the Mahakala Jyotirlinga. It's in the same place. But some references say Avanti is near Allahabad. So Allahabad is not very close to Madhya Pradesh. That is the Mahakaleshwara temple. So here there is a little, you can say, it's Puranas. As I had given you a disclaimer, there will be little ups and downs with regards to the areas. So here we have a doubt whether this temple is really the Mahakaleshwara temple as per the list of Jyotirlingas, or it is just another Shiva temple wherein Shiva was known by the name of Mahakala. So it was said that if you worship the Shiva there, it is as if equal to performing 1000 Ashwamedha sacrifices. So such was the power of worshipping the Shiva in this King Indradyumna's kingdom. And also the river Kshipra used to flow near this place. Now there was also a temple of Vishnu near the outskirts on the banks of this river, and Vishnu here was called Govinda Swami. That used to be the Vishnu, the Lord used to be called by that name. And there was another temple to Lord Vishnu called Vikramaswamy. I am just telling you these names. You can make a note of it, or in the recordings also you can listen later, just so that we know the names of all these places and people. So in spite of all this, the point is you had a Shiva temple, you have two Vishnu temples, but in spite of all this in his own capital, the king was not satisfied. He wanted to build another temple for Lord Vishnu, but where? So therefore he said, no, my capital of Avanti is not proper. Let me leave this place and go and search for some other place. And then he leaves. He keeps traveling a bit southwards. Now, finally, he reaches this place in Odisha, wherein on the shores of the ocean, he lives there for some time. And he discovers a place near the ocean which had a lot of trees, fruit and flower trees. So you can say a very prosperous area, very rich area, and many types of birds and animals. So vegetation, flora, fauna, everything was very beautiful, very good there. So this king finally finds this place. This place was the Purushottama Kshetra, which is called today as Puri. The city of Puri today was earlier called as Purushottama Kshetra. It is a very, very important Tirtha Kshetra. Now from this story onwards, we are going to see a lot of stories with regards to the different Tirtha Kshetras or different Tirthas that are being mentioned in our scriptures or in the entire geography of India. So Brahma Purana is famous for different Tirthas. Now usually all these Tirtha Kshetras are near the banks of the river. For example, the Pushkar, if you go, you have the Pushkar Tirtha. So, or even Jagannath Puri, we have the ocean nearby. So like this, it's not always that you have to go and take a bath in the river, but usually all these temples you have in many places, you take a bath in the river or you do some puja, some worship there, and then there is a temple constructed nearby. So in this story we are going southwards, but in the further stories we see that there has been a lot of tirthas mentioned in the Himalayan regions. That is why even today when we go on the Chota Chardham Yatra, that is Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, Yamunotri, we find a lot of tirthas, Narayan Tirtha, Vishnu Tirtha. So if you have those local guides, you go by those local buses or so, those people will usually tell you, here is a place where something happened, here is a place where Pandavas came, here is a place where you can take a dip, it is very auspicious. So if any one of you, if you have gone, you will know. So that is the significance of these tirthas. So some important story, some important incident would have taken place. That's how the tirthas become well known. So from this story onwards, we are going to see different stories which are related to these tirthas. Brahma Purana makes reference to different of these important tirtha kshetras. So tirtha kshetras, what I am telling you is, it may not be something which is always common. Like for example, we know few tirtha kshetras, few pilgrimage spots. But that doesn't mean that is the only list. The list ends there. Few are popular, few are not that popular, but yes, we have a lot of mention even to those tirthas. And the point is, through all this information that we see, all of this we can see even today. Of course, the geography little would have been changed, but yes, you can see all these places. So that is the reason next time whenever you make a trip also, whatever has been mentioned in our scriptures, you can surely find out if such a place really exists. And now that we know the story, it makes more sense, more meaningfully you can go and experience everything. So coming back, this king Indradyumna reaches the place Purushottama Kshetram, that is the modern city of Puri. And it was a very important kshetra, but all the now today Jagannath Puri has become very famous pilgrimage spot, all thanks to King Indradyumna. Before Indradyumna came here, nobody knew about this place. It was just like a normal city, normal local residents used to say, that's it. There was no temple, nothing. And there was a reason behind this. Now, many years ago, there was a belief that there used to be an image of Vishnu in this place, and there were the local people, they used to come and pray to this image. And it is said that this image was so sacred that anyone who used to come and pray, whatever kind of sins you do, all the sins would be washed away immediately on the spot. So people used to be so happy. Now if all of us also we are told, okay, you do whatever sin you want full day, next at the end of the day just come here, just pray to this Lord, all your sins will go away. Who will not like such schemes, right? So people used to very happily, they used to do all kinds of sins, pray to this Vishnu, all their sins used to go away. So now Yama, the god of death, saw this, and he goes and tells Vishnu that this is not done, right? Otherwise people will just keep committing sins and then my work is not happening. I am the god of death, I am coming to snatch people's lives and give them proper punishment for their sins. If by just praying to your image, if people are being free of sins, my job is in danger now, and this is not right too. So you please do something. So at that time what happens is that Vishnu decides that this image, he himself, he goes inside the sand. Now all this, it was near the ocean, so you have a lot of sand nearby, and it is said that the image of Vishnu it hid itself inside the sand. So from that day onwards, people did not know that such an image of Lord Vishnu existed. So now Indradyumna, this is that time period wherein the statue of Lord Vishnu has been inside the sand now, and nobody knows that such a statue of Lord Vishnu ever existed here. Indradyumna, he liked this place very much. Finally he starts getting some satisfaction. He feels, okay, maybe I have chosen the right place to build a temple for Lord Vishnu. Let me explore a bit more. Then you have the river Mahanadi that flows by. People were also very religious, and he feels that no, this is the right place, and on an auspicious day I will do the foundation and everything here. And then what he does is that now to build a temple is not easy. You need a lot of funds, administration, contributions. So he gets in touch with the nearby kings. Now on the eastern side, in the state of Odisha, if you see in those times, kings were the kings of Kosala, Kalkinga, or you can call them even the Kalinga kings, who were ruling in that part. So he sought help from them. He told them that I want to build a temple, so I need help from all. Whatever you can contribute, you please do. And that's when a lot of architects, everyone was brought about. And so that's how all these kings also readily helped. A lot of wealth, stones, architects, everyone was sought, and the building part started. And first is, now Indradyumna, he had called all the kings and he told them two things. He said, first is, I want to do an Ashwamedha Yajna here, Ashwamedha sacrifice. Second is, I want to build a temple for Lord Vishnu. Both of these are not very easy jobs, but with the help of all of you, we can achieve this easily. All the kings, they agreed, and it is said that to witness this yajna, Brahmins from all over Jambudvipe, entire Asia, they came, and all the Brahmins were highly richly rewarded with all kinds of elephants, horses, cows. Now in those times, Brahmins used to be given gifts in the form of gold, cows, elephants and all that. So everyone was richly rewarded, everyone was happy, whoever had come there, and never had such a sacrifice been performed earlier. Then the sacrifice was over, a temple was built. Now temple, the structure had been built. Now what remained was the main image of the Lord. How this has to be built? This was the most important question. The outside structure of the temple, everything has been built, the Ashwamedha sacrifice has been done. But now how should the main image of the temple be constructed? Indradyumna starts praying to Lord Vishnu again, saying that you only have to guide me. Vishnu appears in a dream to Indradyumna and said, don't be sad. Tomorrow when the sun rises, you go to the shore of the ocean. The ocean is nearby, go there. You will find a tree there. It is said that half of this tree will be in water, that is inside the ocean, and half of the tree will be on land, in the sand. You chop down this tree, and the wood that you get from this tree, you can use that wood for building the idols of this temple. Indradyumna does the same thing, and he chops down the tree, and as he was about to get it, two Brahmins come there. As he was about to get the wood after chopping the tree, two Brahmins come there and they tell. Now these Brahmins were Vishnu and Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma, the architect of gods, himself in disguise. But Indradyumna did not know that. And at that time, just they have come to test the king. So they come and they ask, both the Brahmins ask the king, what have you done? You cut down the only tree. This was the only tree that was there on the ocean. Why did you cut? The king asks for forgiveness. He says, forgive me. But yesterday night, Lord Vishnu himself came in my dream and he told me that you use the wood of this tree to make the images of the Lord that am in the temple. So then the Brahman who was Lord Vishnu himself said that, oh, it is a very excellent idea. Please do it. He is, at that time, Vishnu in the form of the Brahmin, he introduces his companion who was Vishwakarma in disguise. He says that this Brahmin here, he does not reveal directly that he is Vishwakarma. He says that this, my companion, is as skilled as the great architect of gods, Vishwakarma himself. If you will, he will build the image for you. Now, King Indradyumna was more than happy. He said, okay, my job has become more easier. And as instructed by Vishnu, Vishwakarma, he started building the image. And there were 3 different images that were built. First one was of Baladeva or Balarama, completely white in color, except for the eyes, which was red. Then the image was dressed in blue, as always we see Balarama dressed in blue, with a snake over Balarama's head, because he is an avatara of Sheshanaga or Adi Shesha. Then a club and a mace, Gadha, was always kept in Balarama's hands. So this was how the image of Balarama was constructed. Second was dressed in yellow with a chakra in hand, Krishna's blue in color, eyes was lotus like eyes. Third was of Krishna's sister Subhadra, which was golden in color and was dressed in beautiful clothes. So mixed color clothes. So this was how the construction was made. And when Indradyumna, he saw that all this was done in a matter of minutes, he realized that both these Brahmins, they are not normal human beings. He immediately goes to them and falls at their feet and says, by your miracles that you have done, within minutes you have constructed the idols of Balarama, Krishna and Subhadra. Surely you are not human beings. Please tell me your real form. At that time, Vishnu and Vishwakarma, both of them, they revealed themselves. Indradyumna was thrilled that Vishnu himself, he wanted to worship Vishnu. That's how the whole purpose of even constructing the temple started. He was more than happy. He did not know what to express. And when Vishnu himself had come in front of him, he said he didn't know how to react. Vishnu blessed him at that time that you will rule over this earth for 10,000 years more. And after you die also, you will go to heaven, you will go to Vaikuntha. And this temple made by you will always be existing. People from all over the world will be attracted to this temple. It will become a very, very important place for my worship. That's how even till date we find the Jagannath Puri temple that is there. All of us also, some of you would have gone. Those who have not gone, we can all make a trip surely in future. So this is how the Jagannath Puri temple has come into being and the story behind it. Okay, did everyone understand till here? Yes?
Yes.
Very good, ma'am.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very interesting. Very
Nice.
nice.
Yeah. Next.
Very nice. Lakshmi, in the Gajendra Mosgal, what in the Indradyumna Nana?
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಇಂದ್ರದ್ಯುಮ್ನ.
I said.
நான் இந்திரத்யும்னா அது அப்படி பேரு வச்சதல்ல, ஈக்குவல் டு இந்திரா, அதனால இந்திரத்யும்னா. அப்படி நிறைய இந்திரத்யும்னா உண்டு. ஸோ தட் இஸ் நாட் த ஒரிஜினல் நேம். கஜேந்திர மோக்ஷா வருது, தட் இஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட். எஸ் பூர்வா,
But I have a doubt. Whenever we go somewhere, and why do we not feel satisfied there?
whenever we go somewhere.
You told when we go somewhere, our life is all happy.
Well, sometimes.
Why do we not feel satisfied?
Sometimes it might happen that, in spite of doing everything, sometimes we don't feel happy. Like you don't know what. But sometimes, okay, everything is there, but still I don't feel satisfied. Usually it happens, right? Now you say, for example, you have 5 clothes. You buy 5 new clothes for yourself. But still you feel, no, I have only 5 clothes. You look at your friend, she has 7 clothes. You feel immediately, oh, she has got 7 clothes. You have also got 5 clothes. You can live with that. But still we don't feel satisfied. We look at someone else, we feel, no, she has got 2 more.
Jealous?
Somewhat jealous, but it might not always be jealousy. Little you can consider jealous. More is satisfaction. So here what we do is, it's not that we don't have anything. We have everything. We are happy also. But someone else has got, so even I need. But sometimes in general, there is not always a reason. Some days we feel very happy. Sometimes we say that I'm feeling very happy today. I don't know why. Sometimes we say that. So there's no reason for that. So here, in this case also, Indradyumna, he had done everything. But still, That was, it led to good, right? Later he had to find out the place Jagannath Puri. That's how, gift to the entire world. That's how it came. Okay, next. Now, in between, before we continue with the stories, in between only, the Phalashruti of the Brahma Purana has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana itself. This happens in very few texts. That, why am I reading something? In the same text, it will be mentioned. For example, the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam or the significance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that has been mentioned in the Padma Purana, some other Purana, not in itself. Whereas Brahma Purana is one of those very rare Puranas. I am not saying the only Purana, but one of those very rare Puranas wherein the significance is mentioned in the Purana itself, or the Phalashruti is mentioned in the Purana itself. Why should someone read the Brahma Purana? Now, all of us, we are just looking at the stories of the Brahma Purana. We are not reading the original part. Right? We are not reading the original shlokas, original verses. And in general also, mostly Srimad Bhagavatam is read. We don't, in general, do a lot of Parayanam of the 18 Puranas. But even today, there are a few people, like for example, if you go to Sringeri Kshetra, Karnataka, India, there on specific occasions, like maybe during the Navratri period or the Kumbhabhisheka, something like that, when it takes place, something important taking place, on specific important occasions, Purana Pathanam, you can actually, you have scholars invited there during that time, or the local scholars also who are there, local pandits there, priests, they do the reading of all the 18 Puranas. Some houses, some places also have this reading, Purana Pathanam it is called. Not very common, but that doesn't mean that people do not do it. So just for information I am telling. That is the reason why we should have like we have the Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam and so on at our houses. Puranas also, we must have it at our houses. Just keeping it, just one second, just keeping it in the shelves also will not help. We have to open it and also read it. So, though we mostly is the story part, we listen to the stories. Now that itself, now the stories, if you see, when I had this in mind that okay, we'll start some classes sessions like this. I had this in mind thinking that for one Purana we'll devote one session. Now you see, for one Purana, even 2 sessions, or I don't know when it is going to end, right? Because so much of depth, that also I'm not going in depth. I'm not telling you about all the 10,000 verses. Each verse we are not looking at. Each and every small aspect I'm not telling. But there are so many aspects when I come across the entire Purana, when I read, I feel no, this has to be told, that has to be told. So I sit and make notes or something just to tell you, and then the list keeps on going. And then it comes that a few topics we cannot skip at all. So in the case of Puranas, this reading the original Purana also is a way which many people do. This practice is done in many places till date. Yes, Padmavati ji.
No, I just sorry. I thought you had stopped. This thing, these books, no, like Puranas, that original ones you say, they are in Sanskrit, no?
Yeah.
And then with meaning it is available.
With meaning it is available. Like you have this Gita Press editions and all. But then I think it will be available even in the Ramakrishna Mission books. But I am aware, I have seen of Gita Press. But I think in Gita Press, except for Srimad Bhagavatam, some texts are only the text that is there. Not all texts are with meanings. And sometimes the meaning is in Hindi. Because Gita Press mainly is a North Indian publication. Some are in Hindi. So it depends on how much we are comfortable. Though we can read and understand Hindi, and we speak in Hindi, reading something in Hindi sometimes becomes tough, right? Like we might, so it depends on everyone's comfort.
Level of Hindi they are using it.
So and especially,
but actually for Bhagavad Gita, their Gita Press, that Ram Sukhdasji's Hindi is very fine.
That is fine because it is of every verse that he speaks. But in the case of Puranas, there are stories, right? So maybe you can just try, like when we buy, you can just go through the book once a bit, but not everything is there in English. Yeah. Okay. So continue. Brahma Purana's Phalashruti, it is mentioned here only. So now if you remember, on the first day I told you the starting part of how this Brahma Purana came about. So that is when in the forest of Naimisharanya, Roma Harshana is telling the Brahma Purana to the sages, saying that many years ago Veda Vyasa had told this Adi Purana to all the sages. Same thing I am also telling you, sages were very happy listening to this. And whatever Veda Vyasa had told the sages, the same now Romaharshana says, I am telling to all the sages who have assembled in this forest of Naimisharanya. And it is said that everyone, he says, they should, if you cannot read, you should at least listen to the recital of this Purana. You are a sage, you are a householder, you are a man, you are a woman, you are a child, or you are an old man. Everyone, at least once in a lifetime, you must listen to the recital, to the chanting of the Brahma Purana. And for all the classes of the society, there is a Parashruti that's mentioned. For example, a Brahmana who listens to the Brahma Purana becomes more learned. Kshatriya becomes, he will get victory wherever he goes about. Vaishya keeps on becoming rich. The business class looks for making money. And a Shudra or a person belonging to the housekeeping or the sanitation field, he achieves happiness. So all kind of happiness in whatever he does. And one who listens to this recital, he will always be able to achieve and fulfill all his wishes. So, and plus because a lot of Tirtha Kshetras are mentioned here starting from Jagannath Puri, even if physically sometimes we are not able to visit all the temples, all the Tirthas, even by listening to the Purana, the Phalashruti of actually visiting the places also we will get. Plus at the same time, because a lot of reference has been made to different sacrifices or yajnas, like we saw the Ashwamedha yajna with reference to King Indradyumna. Now Ashwamedha sacrifice, physically, practically, it is not possible to do for all of us. But at least by reading and listening about that, the Phalashruti we gain as if we have done the sacrifice ourselves. So this is how Romaharshana tells all the sages. He blesses the sages and he returns back to his own ashrama. And it is said that the Puranas, you read the Puranas, tell the Puranas to people who are interested. They should not be told to atheists. Now this is what is a statement that is made here. This from the original Brahma Purana I found this, so that I am telling. But now we don't know. Now in the case of Romaharshana, his audience was all sages. So he knew that the audience, all the sages are interested in knowing about the Puranas, what has been mentioned in that. But in general, all of us now, now you cannot tell what is there in my mind, I cannot tell what is there in your mind, right? Now even here also there might be a few people, say, I'm just giving you an example, out of 40 people, whatever I am speaking or the way I am speaking, there might be one or two people who might not like, right? Or rather than saying not like, they might feel, okay, why she is talking in this way, she can talk in another way. Or you might not tell me, but you might have this in your mind that no, this is not the right way of telling, you can tell in some other way. So like this, there can be difference of opinions. But, so that is fine. But what is mentioned in the Brahma Purana is, Romaharshana says, to people who always go behind Tarkam, keep on questioning, there are atheists everywhere, right? So to them, Brahma Purana is of no use. It is better you don't tell anything to anyone at all. Okay. Further? Yeah.
Romaharshana was a sage himself.
Romaharshana was also a sage. Like he was a very learned scholar, learned sage.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Further, Brahma Purana gives a lot of reference about Yoga Shastra, yoga. Now we all do a lot of physical yoga, that is Hatha Yoga. But there are different other yogas also. The Gita gives reference to that. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Yoga literally means connecting, to connect with the Supreme, connect with the Divine. It has come from the Sanskrit dhatu, yuja. Yuja meaning to connect. So form of meditation that connects human beings with the Divine Soul. And a practitioner of yoga. Now, how should yoga be practiced? That has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana. So you should sit in a proper posture, you should eat fruits, roots, milk, yogurt, all kinds of dairy products. Then yoga should be practiced in a place that is pleasant. So you can say a windy place, in open air and so on. Climate should not be very hot, very cold. There should be no noise. You should sit in a proper posture for doing the asanas. Your mind should be concentrated and focused and so on. So like this, the ways of different doing yoga that has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana. Then he has to do a lot of exercise. We have to control a lot of junk food that we eat. So whatever today all the different yoga practitioners tell us, reference goes back to Brahma Purana. Or Yoga Shastram also, 6 Vedangas. Among the 6 Vedangas, one is Yoga Shastram. Yoga, same has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana also. So whatever today yoga practitioners, yoga teachers, now all of us, some people would be practicing yoga, right? You will be teachers or students. So you know about yoga. It is the same thing. We find some reference in the Brahma Purana too. Further, next, Brahma Purana also talks about the 4 Varanas, how the society was divided. First reference goes to the Gita, wherein Krishna had made the segregation of the society into 4 categories: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, wherein the duties of all the classes was done. Again, do not consider the 4 Varanas to be as a caste system that we follow today. This is a very common belief. Brahmanas are considered superior. Kshatriyas today, I don't think, we don't have a lot of royal worship, not kingship today, royal rules that are there, that we don't find kingship in the society today. Vaishyas are so-called Brahmin. Shudras, we look at them with a very demeaning outlook. It is not at all so. This is all man-made. Human beings, we have created this because we don't know the essence behind it. The 4 classes were divided in the society for easy administration purpose. Today, in the government you go, we have so many other departments, right? Ministry of Education, Ministry of Cleanliness, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Defense, and so on. For a country, all this is there. Today we find all this because our country is developed. Just for the last 75 years after independence, everything has fallen in place. But in ancient times, people used to live in small villages and towns. But still, they are the same people. They are also made of the same 5 elements, Panchabhuta Shariram. They also have the same hours, 24 hours. They have the same year, same month. They also have to live a life like us only. All the facilities and amenities that we need today, even people also need. Everyone needs food, everyone needs safety, water. Things are the same. But today, we live in a city, we live in a country with proper governance. All the facilities are there for us. So all such things do not make a difference. But to go to a small village even today, people have to go miles to fetch water. There is no electricity, there is no light. So there is where we start facing problems. So to take care of all this, now for a village to run properly or for a small town to run properly, administration should be proper, right? Today we have chief ministers, politicians, and so on. Let's not get into the corruption and the different problems that we are facing. That is one part. But still we have someone who's making some rules and the entire country is so-called following that. So in the village also, though it's a country, a city, a village or a town, there has to be a leader for everything. So in ancient times, when things were not that developed, things were small, that is when Krishna tells Arjuna in the 4th chapter of the Gita, Chaturvaranyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Based on the qualities and actions of people, I have divided the society into 4 parts for easy administration. So that Brahmins or some people who are quite educated, let them belong to the teaching category, they are responsible for educating the children of the society. Kshatriyas, the kings or people who are a bit physically strong, let them be responsible for the safety and for taking care of our village, of our town. Vaishyas, the Brahmin class, Krishna himself was born in the Vaishya category because his family, Nanda Gopa, was dealing in the sale of dairy products. That's how he used to go and graze cows and sell milk, butter, and so on. Vaishya, the business class. And finally the Shudras, so-called housekeeping community. We have today in different corporates, different buildings, wherever you go, we have housekeeping people who are responsible for cleanliness and the sanitation parts. So, why I am giving you this explanation is, nowhere, be it the Brahma Purana or be it the Gita, nowhere it has been shown this caste is big, that caste is low, all this is man-made. We humans have created problems for our own selves. Reason being, because we are ignorant enough, we have not studied our scriptures. So, I am not telling all of you, but this is where doubts come in. This is the reason why fights are taking place, because we are not able to understand the essence properly. Why something has been done? No, this is how it has been done. I will go and I'll fight for my rights. But what sense it has been done, we don't know. How people today have interpreted it as, we don't know. So here, again in the Brahma Purana, duties of each of these classes has been mentioned. And it is said that Brahmana, he has to donate alms, whatever he gets. He has to study, perform tapasya in the sense, he has to study a lot. Now if you have to teach people, that means first you yourself have to be educated. So studying, worshipping, performing yajnas, studying the Vedas. These were the duties of the Brahmana. and to earn a living. You be a Brahmana or a Kshudra or a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, you need some money to fill your stomach. So to earn a living, Brahmins used to adopt the teaching profession. Kshatriya again used to be very skillful in the use of weapons. Vaishyas used to deal with agriculture, animal husbandry. We had seen this in the previous stories. And Vaishyas also, they should also perform sacrifices, study the Shastras. That's why Krishna also went to the Gurukula, Sandipani. We know Sandipani, Gargacharya and so on. So you be only Brahmins should only study, go to the Gurukula. No, even Vaishyas also must study. That's why I don't know, there are a lot of men here, but still for your reference, we must know to which family we belong to. You say, okay, I belong to a Brahmin family, I belong to a Kshatriya family, I belong to a Vaishya family. That tells about our roots. And for the Brahmin, Kshatriyas as well as Vaishyas, for all the three categories, you have the sacred thread. The Upanayana Samskara has to be done. So men here, those for men I am telling, if anyone, you can just find out. Now, what about my tradition? Is the Upanayana Samskara done for me? If you belong to these three categories, the Upanayana Samskara is done for you. So you can just check, just for our own information, to check on our own roots, you can find out this. Further, a Kshatriya also should study the Shastras. Then a Shudras, they have a lot of duties. Mainly they do a lot of these sanitation activities, or you can say the service providers. Today the world is going into service provider, right? Now we have these SIM card providers. What is that? Service providers. Today 90%, now though we boast about working in different companies, ultimately at the end of the day we are also the Shudra community. We are also service providers. My company is a manufacturer of so and so. What are you doing? You're providing service to your customers. You're making your customers happy. That's it. So though we boast about that I'm working in so and so profession, I'm having so and so designation, I earn in so and so. What are you doing? You're also working under someone. You're also getting money. You're also providing some service to the customers. So the service providing community is the Shudra community. They can be shopkeepers, they can be sculptors, they can be artisans. So they can do their own art. They can be their own businessmen also. So it's not only limited to housekeeping, cleanliness, sanitation. They can be anything. They can be shopkeepers, artisans and so on. Very, very clearly it has been mentioned that in times of emergency, now things don't work, then what will I do? Brahmanas can adopt the life of Kshatriyas or Vaishyas. Kshatriyas can adopt the life of Vaishyas or Shudras, and Vaishyas are also permitted to adopt the life of Shudras. This also has been clearly mentioned in the Brahma Purana. Now what is the meaning of this? That means, okay, I am a Brahmana, I will only teach lifelong. What if you don't get an opportunity to teach? Will I stay hungry all my life? Will I not earn any money? Of course, you will see some other work, right? So say for example, I am doing something. I have some job in hand. If I lose a job, and if I am not getting any other job, but I am in need of a job, sometimes we go even for less salary, right? It's okay, whatever you give me, it is okay. I am ready to work even all 7 days of the week, but I am in need of a job. We do it, right? Same concept is applied here. Only thing is, we are not able to adapt to this easily, and that's how it leads to different clashes. So here it has been mentioned that if in difficult times, I give you a very simple example. Today's thing, now there are many people, you see, along with a full-time job or something, or sometimes we come across so many such incidents wherein I left my job and today I am doing something. So you see, today we have all social media. There are elders also, but still all of us mostly we are familiar with this. You see a lot of social media, you have content creation, people making YouTube videos, people making food blogs. What is all this? No, a few years back all this was never there, right? No, I'm doing a full-time job, but now I left that, I'm doing some blogging, people say. They've changed their way of life. Now what is blogging? You're just cooking a food blog, let us take. What they do? Or YouTube video, okay. YouTube video, they make those cookery videos. All of us we see, right? Cooking videos. What do they do in that? They cook something at their house, they just take a video, post it. That's it. And all of us we see, if you like it, you watch, you also make it at our houses. The same cooking work is being done. Duties of a Shudra, right? Shudras, we say, okay, cooking is not, we are not looking at that, oh, she is doing cooking work at someone's house. It's not someone else's house, you're doing at your own house. job has been, no, I was doing a full-time job, I left that to do now food blogging, we say. So we have just attached some good, maybe good modern words, just food blogging. Or you listen to the word blogging, you feel, oh, something, it's mind-boggling. So you feel very happy, oh, this is something very new. But thing is, times have changed. Or I'll give you one more example. We have just the pandemic, not yet ended fully. During the times of COVID, we see so many people, they were ready to do any kind of jobs that come in their hands, right? So you see people even on a very high post, whatever they get, they have changed for them. So this is where during times of emergency, same thing has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana. I'm just giving you a few examples from our everyday life so that we can relate it. Today now we don't see Brahmin, Vaishya, Shudra and okay, he belongs to the Brahmin community, he belongs to the Kshatriya community. We don't live in small settlements today. Even villages also today, people who live in villages or small towns and districts also, it is quite developed. So even when people in villages also today go to a proper sector, you go to a proper office and work. So we don't see this Gurukula system wherein Brahmins are teaching or Kshatriyas are taught to be skillful in weapons and so on. But still, how it is till date very much applicable to our lives, that has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana, wherein depending on the situation, sometimes we will have to even change our profession, change our duties. Okay, so did everyone understand this concept of Varna system that has been mentioned in the Brahma Purana? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we'll continue looking at the stories now. Looking at some more tirthas. First we saw the Tirtha Kshetra of Jagannath Puri was established. Now some tirthas are famous, like the Jagannath Jagannath Puri temple. But some tirthas, some people might know, some people you might, it's not very popular. So now there was a city called Bhavana. Now usually all this is near today's Himachal Pradesh. You can consider the state of Himachal Pradesh on the way to, I told you, the Char Dham Yatra that we go. So near that you can consider. In that city there was a Brahmin called Gautama. And he had a friend, he was a Vaishya. He was like a trader. His name was Manikundala. So both Gautama and Manikundala, they were good friends. But Gautama's mother, she used to give a lot of, ill advice. So, like she was always on the wrong path. She used to tell him how to make quick money, or to achieve your things, to achieve whatever you want, you can do anything. Be it that is good or wrong, let it be at the cost of one's life or whatever it is. You want this, you have to do that. So the mother itself used to give such samskara to the child, and that's how Gautama became he went on the wrong path. So he told his friend Manikundala that now what, always you are staying here only at this, in your same place, your father has generated a lot of wealth, using that you are staying here and you are being happy. Is this how you lead life? Let us go to other countries, let us trade, let us make some profits in other places also come. Manikundala, he said, no, I am satisfied with whatever I have. I have a lot of wealth that my father has kept. I am doing some local work in the same village. So let me stay here only in the city of Bhavana. It's not a village, sorry, city. In the city of Bhavana, let us be happy. I don't want to go to other places and make some extra profits. I am happy and satisfied with whatever I have. So then Gautama said, you don't have this proper thinking. You just want to live with your father's wealth. All of us, we should be independent. What is there? If tomorrow someone comes and asks you, what are you doing? You say, I have a lot of wealth. What you have on your own, that is what shows our power, greatness and all. So somehow by telling all this, he finally convinces his friend, Gautama convinces Manikundala that come, let's go to other places. And finally Manikundala was convinced and they went. Manikundala did not realize that his friend Gautama can go to any extent. He was a big fraudster, but he did not realize this. And further both of them, they move about. And at that time Gautama, on the way, he tells that you are always talking about dharma, righteousness, always you have to be on the right path to earn money and so on. You see that those people who always follow dharma or always are on the right path or always who do good, they have to suffer in the end. So sometimes even to achieve your things, you must go on the wrong path. Manikundala immediately protested, saying that don't say that. It's okay, even if I earn a bit less, that is fine, but at least I am happy. Happiness lies only in being on the right path. Even if I go on the wrong path, today I might be happy, but tomorrow it is surely going to cause me some or the other sorrow. So So it is better that I always follow dharma and be on the right. So like this, the two friends, they kept on arguing. And finally now this Gautama was so smart that he put a bet. He said that both of us, let us keep making our own points in front of each other, our own opinions. Whoever can argue, whoever can debate, argue and win over this, that person has to give wealth every time. So Gautama, Manikundala also agreed. He was a very simple man, immediately he could be convinced. So then this Gautama, he used to always keep talking about follow dharma, dharma, dharma. Manikundala used to make his points, follow dharma, dharma, dharma. But ultimately towards the end, Gautama only used to win, and Manikundala this way he lost all his wealth. Now there was nothing to give. Now Gautama said, you have lost all your wealth, still you are praising dharma, still you are saying that you have to follow dharma. Manikundala here says that wealth is not everything. Dharma, I own dharma. I know that even if I have lost everything, I will not leave dharma. I will always be on the right path. This will guide me. Even at this point, when now this is very, very difficult. Sometimes when life throws difficult situations, though we might not do it, but at least a thought will come to our mind, okay, let me go on the wrong path. Maybe that's the reason why during the pandemic also, if you checked in the news, you'll find that a lot of robberies increased, right? People who are not by profession, nobody is a thief, but situations put them in such a place that there's nothing to eat, we have to fill our stomachs, my children are hungry at home, I don't know what to do, I have to end up stealing, right? We have so many poor people or people who cannot afford, who go on the wrong path. Reason is not always because they want to do it, but because of miserable situations. But Manikundala here, he is smart enough, he says no, whatever happens I will not do that. Finally Gautama says, okay, now let's go, you don't have anything to offer, now we'll have a debate. In this debate, whoever loses, that person has to give away his own life. Manikundala agrees. Manikundala did not have any option. Manikundala lost the bet, and this time Gautama said, okay, I'll not take your life fully, I'll cut 2 of your arms. So both the hands of Manikundala were chopped. Gautama cut that away. Gautama says, how does it feel? Now you have lost both your hands, you are talking about dharma, still you have lost both your hands. Manikundala still says, no, I'm feeling the same, it's okay, but still I'll not leave dharma. Now Gautama got very angry, he lost his temper, he's saying, this such a foolish man, I'm wasting my time with debate, now I'm going to show you, I'm surely going to take your life now. He says, now I'll cut off your head now if you still talk and keep praising about dharma. Manikundala, he did not change at all, he was very stern on his opinion, saying that dharma is everything. And finally what happened is that again they had a debate, as usual Manikundala lost, and this time what happened is that Gautama, he removed the eyes of Manikundala and he left him to die. Hands have been cut off, the eyes also have been removed. Manikundala, he lay on the banks of the Gautami Ganga. Gautami Ganga is a river that flows in Himachal Pradesh. So that's why I told you, it's a Tirtha Kshetra near there. He just lay down there. Manikundala, he just kept thinking about the things that have happened and he just was lying down there. And there was a image of Vishnu on the banks of the river. And there it was believed that Vibhishana, he used to come there every night to pray to Vishnu. Vibhishana from the Ramayana context. And Vibhishana's son, he saw Manikundala lying down there. And he asked them, now if you see a person suddenly lying, then we also go and ask what happened, right? So he went to help them, Vibhishana's son, and he found, and Manikundala told him the entire story. And at that time, Vibhishana's son, he remembered his story, saying that Vibhishana had told his son that many years ago I had joined Rama in the fight with Ravana. At that time, once Lakshmana had fallen down, so the monkey Hanuman, he went to the Himalayas, he brought the mountain Grandhamadana to Lanka. Grandhamadana, name of the mountain wherein we had the Sanjeevani booty. And on that mountain there is a herb called Vishalyakarani, which cures all kinds of illnesses. And while Hanuman was bringing the mountain from the Himalayas till Lanka, he has flown about. So, and this Gautami Ganga is also in the northern area only. So Vibhishana said that little part of this herb has fallen here. When Hanuman was carrying the whole mountain and coming, a bit of the herbs, the Vishalyakarani, that has fallen in this place also, near Vishnu's image. That's what Vibhishana had just told. That's where Vishnu, both Vibhishana and his son, they were worshipping Vishnu for many years together. So Vibhishana's son at this point, he remembers this story. He remembers, oh, the herb also would be somewhere nearby. I see this Manikundala suffering, his arms have been cut out, eyes have been cut out. So let me try using this herb. Maybe if his illness is cured, it is well and good. Vibhishana also comes there, and then the Vishalyakarani, it had become a huge tree now. Now you see sometimes birds, it is said that birds, they drop some seeds. Eventually drop seeds on the ground with rain falling in, the seed grows into a tree, right? So this Vishalyakarani, this herb had grown into a big tree now. And immediately they cut off a branch and they placed it on Manikundala's chest. Manikundala he regained his eyes, arms and everything, and he was cured. And Vibhishana and his family, they returned back to Lanka. Now Manikundala, he became normal. He came to a city wherein there was a king. The king had no sons, only one daughter, and this daughter was blind. And the king, he announced that whoever will cure my daughter, that person would be married off to my daughter, that person would become my son-in-law. So then Manikundala, he remembered of the herb that was there. He immediately bought the Vishalyakarani here and he married the princess. He cured the princess of her illness. She regained her eyesight. He married her, and later after marrying the princess, he became the king of that place. The place was called Mahapura. Later, the Gautama who had first fought with Manikundala, he was brought in front of Manikundala. In the kingdom of Manikundala, he had committed some crime. So that's when the soldiers caught hold of Gautama, brought him in front of the king. Then he was arrested. So Gautama had lost all his wealth because he was indulging in all kinds of wrong activities. So he had lost all his wealth. He had become more than a beggar. But even in this part, Manikundala did not leave his dharma. He upheld dharma because he believed in kshama, forgiveness. Forgiveness is the highest quality. He forgave his childhood friend and shared with him whatever he had, the kingdom, riches, everything. So he shared with this. So and that's how Gautama also lived a happy life thereafter. Manikundala also lived a good life. So through this story, what is the conclusion is that virtues or the virtuous people are never left empty. For those who follow on the path of dharma, for them things will always come in their hands. Maybe it might take time, but you see, even the evil man who had caused all kinds of destruction, Gautama in this context, in the end things played such a turn that Manikundala had to help Gautama, and in spite of causing so much of trouble to Manikundala, he had helped Gautama. So this shows the path of dharma. So to signify this, there are different tirthas that have been built, and even today if you go to this place near Gautami Ganga, you find different tirthas that are there. One tirtha is for this story that signifies Gautama and Manikundala. Now all this in this tirtha kshetras. Now in the case of Jagannath Puri, we have a full-fledged temple that is built in, but in some places it will not always be a big temple. It may be like a small stone or so, or you have to ask the local people, they might tell, okay, this is the context here. So it might not always be a temple. Now this Gautama, Manikundala, they are not gods to build a temple, but just through the story we understand the importance of following virtues. So when we read about Puranic stories, usually young children, they read about Puranic stories, right? So in that context you find such stories that are there. Maybe a story of two friends and so on. Okay. Next.
Lakshmi.
Yeah.
That first city's name, I couldn't catch it properly.
Bhuvan.
Bhuvan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, on the same banks of this river Gautami Ganga, where a dove used to live, D-O-V-E, dove, pigeon dove. And it used to live with its wife. And this dove was actually Yama's grandson. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Usually now when we read such things, dove or animal stories like the Jataka tales and so on, wherein even animals speak, or in our Puranic stories also we have a lot of animal characters speak. For example, you consider Hanuman, Sugriva and all other monkeys. So at that time, we have a doubt coming in our minds, or especially you will have small children asking you such doubts, saying that is it really so that do animals speak? We know that animals don't speak. So is it that everything is just mystery, or everything is just false, fiction? So at this time, what will you answer? If you have this in mind, please remember that all these Puranic stories, time period is different. It is not written in Kali Yuga. Things that we see today doesn't mean that things will be the same many years back. I'll give you a simple example. Human beings today, now we study about early man, Stone Age man in history. Stone Age man, early man look like a monkey almost, right? So then today can we say that no, human beings can be human beings only. How can they look like a monkey? We cannot make that. Why so? Because we have the historical evidence that no, early man, somewhat he looked like a monkey. He was almost stooped. Then that's how he developed his backbone and everything, and that's how he kept looking straight. He became straight finally, and today finally we have got a human form. So today, because we have a human form, we see human beings around in a particular form, doesn't mean that right from the start of the world it will be the same. That's how we have Charles Darwin's theory, right, of evolution and so on. So the same is applicable even for all kinds of creation like animals. So it would be such a time period wherein even animals also could be speaking, but in the course of time they have lost their speech. Like Hanuman, Hanuman and these monkeys, there have been different species. Monkey is not only one monkey which we see, the brown color monkey running about here and there. That's not the only monkey. There are thousands of species in monkeys. Hanuman belonged to a category of Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens, they are a category of living beings, half man, half monkeys. So that's the reason, because they had a bit of human qualities in them, the monkeys could speak about and do things like human beings, but they belong to the monkey clan. So their bodily features were like a monkey, but mentally they had human qualities. So it will not always be a full monkey. The reason I'm telling you this is there has been a lot of evolution. There have been different species. So therefore, when I tell, okay, now we are going to see a story about a dove or so. The dove was Yama's grandson, or the dove had a wife. Dove's name was so and so. We should not be confusing that how such things are happening, how the stories of animals has been mentioned. Some are, of course, some stories might be fiction, but the Puranic stories or some like Hanuman, Sugriva and so on, we cannot say, or when we make some beliefs saying that all this is just false. It cannot be so, because today when we believe in Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, that there we see the early man has evolved so much, then why can't we believe in our own Puranic stories, our own evolution wherein we mention about animals talking and so on. So the thing is, maybe we are not present there, we have not seen things happening like that today. Us, we don't see monkeys, dogs, birds speaking to us, but that doesn't mean there would never have been a time when such things didn't happen. So therefore we cannot, I'm not saying 100% we can believe that it will be so, but at the same time 100% we cannot claim also saying that all this is false. So both the things we must accept. So we'll just see a small story and then we'll conclude. So there was a dove, his name was Anuradha, not Anuradha, A-N-U-H, Anuradha, and the dove's wife's name was Heti, H-E-T-I, Heti. And this Anuradha, this dove, it was Yama's grandson. And near this river, dove's family also used to live on the banks of this Gautami Ganga, same river. And there was an owl nearby. Owl, Uluka, we say in Sanskrit for an owl, and his wife was Uluki. They used to also live. Now these owls, they were descendants of Agni Deva, the god of fire. Now we know that owls and dove, owl, vulture, eagle, they usually have an enmity with all these normal birds like crows, pigeons and doves. But so they used to always keep fighting amongst themselves continuously. Now these doves, because he was the descendant, Anuradha was a descendant of Yama, he had all the weapons from Yamadeva. And this owl had received all sorts of weapons from Agni Deva. And these divine weapons, they used to fight with all these weapons and they threatened to burn up everything. But at this time it is said that Agni and Yama, they intervened here, saying that if you burn up everything, the entire world will be burned up. It's not that because of only both of you will end, because of your enmity, it will cause a lot of destruction and trouble to all the people and the places nearby, so do not do that. And it is said that the doves and owls were told to forget their enmity and always live together as friends. And the place where these doves came to live about from that day was called Yamya Tirtha or Yamatirtha, and the place where owls lived came to be known as Agni Tirtha after their descendants Yama and Agni. Now this is not a very big story, but just to show that these two places are still existing today, and it is said that from that day onwards, today we don't see, owls are not that common, but we don't see owls much fighting with common birds. We have eagles and vultures that eat the meat and so on, but owls have not become fighting birds at all. The significance starts from this story saying that after this incident between the dove and the owl, there has been no enmity or not much destruction that the owl causes to birds. Okay, so today time is up. We will stop here.